If you think Social Security is simply a check that shows up when you turn 62, you might be leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table without even knowing it. I'm not exaggerating. A few wrong moves, made in a hurry, can lock you into a lower payment for the rest of your life. And here's the part that shocks most people. The majority of retirees make at least one of these big mistakes before they ever cash that first check. That's why today, I want to walk you through 3 of the costliest Social Security missteps I see over and over again, and more importantly, how you can avoid them. Because once you file, some of these decisions are carved in stone. Let's make sure you get every single dollar you've earned. Before we go any further, I want you to think about something. You've worked hard your entire life. You've paid into this system with every paycheck, probably for 40 years or more. That money wasn't a gift, it was a promise. Social Security was designed to be a foundation, a reliable stream of income that you cannot outlive. But here is the truth that doesn't get talked about enough. The Social Security Administration is not in the business of sitting you down and walking you through the most profitable way to claim your benefits. They are there to process your claim based on what you tell them you want to do. They won't stop you if you're about to make a move that permanently reduces your household income. That responsibility falls entirely on you. And believe me, the difference between a well-thought-out claiming strategy and a rushed decision can easily add up to $100,000 in lost income over a 20 or 30-year retirement. So let's get into the first costly mistake, and it's the one I see most often. Claiming benefits at 62 without understanding the lifetime reduction. I get it. When you hit 62, you're tired. Maybe your body is telling you it's time to slow down. Or perhaps you've been counting down the days until you can leave a stressful job. The idea of getting a check from the government right now feels like a lifeline. But here is the cold, hard math that you need to hear before you make that decision. Your full retirement age, depending on the year you were born, is likely 66 or 67. When you take benefits at 62, you are not just taking a small temporary pay cut. You are locking in a permanent reduction of about 25 to 30%. That means if your full retirement age benefit was supposed to be $2,000 a month, you'll be living on roughly $1,500 instead. Not for a year, not for 5 years, but for as long as you live. And if you happen to live well into your 80s or 90s, that shortfall grows into a massive amount of money that you will never get back. Now, I'm not saying that claiming early is always the wrong move. There are legitimate reasons to do it. If your health is poor and you have a shorter life expectancy, it might make sense. If you absolutely cannot work any longer and you have no other savings to draw from, you might have no choice. The mistake isn't claiming early. The mistake is doing it out of excitement or fear without running the real numbers. I've met retirees who claimed at 62 simply because their neighbor told them to grab the money while it's still there. That's a dangerous way to approach the biggest financial decision of your life. My advice to you is this. If you're thinking about filing at 62, sit down with a calculator, look at your family's longevity history, and be brutally honest about your health. Understand that every year you delay, up until age 70, your benefit grows by about 8%. That's guaranteed risk-free growth that you simply cannot find anywhere else in the financial world. Do not throw that away just because you are eager to start collecting. The second mistake is one that catches married couples completely off guard, and it involves the spousal benefit. Many people assume Social Security is just about their own work record. They think, I worked, I get my check, my spouse worked, they get their check, end of story. But the rules around spousal benefits are far more complex, and ignoring them can literally slash your household income. Here is where the tragedy often plays out. Imagine a couple where one spouse was the higher earner, maybe the husband, and the other spouse stayed home for years to raise children or worked part-time and earned significantly less. If the higher earner decides to claim benefits early at 62, not only does he lock in a lower personal benefit, but he also limits the survivor benefit his wife will receive after he passes away. The surviving spouse is entitled to receive the larger of the two benefits, meaning if his was slashed by 30%, she will live on that reduced amount for the rest of her single years. That can push a widow into poverty simply because of a hasty decision made years earlier. The spousal and survivor rules are so critical that they should be the centerpiece of every married couple's retirement conversation. If you are the lower earning spouse, you might be eligible to receive up to 50% of your partner's full retirement age benefit, even if you never worked a day in your life. But timing matters. If you claim your spousal benefit before your own full retirement age, that percentage also gets reduced. I've seen couples where the higher earner waits until 70 to maximize their benefit while the lower earner claims a reduced spousal benefit early just to get some income flowing. That can be a smart bridge strategy, but only if you have done the math and you know the long-term cost. The mistake is winging it. The mistake is thinking, oh, Social Security will just figure it out for us. They won't. You need to sit down together and map out exactly how your individual claiming ages will affect not just this year's income, but the income of the spouse who will eventually be left behind. And let me pause here for a moment. I know this can feel overwhelming. The rules are dense and the stakes are high. If you're feeling a little bit of anxiety right now, that's actually a good sign. It means you care about getting this right. Stick with me, because the third mistake might be the most surprising of all, especially for those of you who love what you do and plan to keep working past 62. The third costly mistake is misunderstanding the earnings test if you claim benefits while still working. A lot of folks hit 62 and think, I'll take my Social Security, but I'm not ready to fully retire. So I'll just keep working part-time and enjoy the best of both worlds. There's nothing wrong with that plan in theory, but the execution can be a disaster if you don't know the rules. Social Security has something called the annual earnings limit. If you claim benefits before your full retirement age and you continue to earn income above a certain threshold, the government will withhold a portion of your benefits. For this year, if you are under your full retirement age for the entire year, the limit is roughly $22,000. For every $2 you earn above that limit, Social Security will deduct $1 from your benefit payments. In the year you actually reach your full retirement age, the limit is higher, and the penalty drops to $1 withheld for every $3 earned above the cap. Once you pass full retirement age, the earnings test disappears completely, and you can earn any amount without losing a cent of your benefits. What does this look like in real life? Imagine you are 63 years old, you filed for benefits early, and you take a part-time job that pays $35,000 a year. You are $13,000 over the earnings limit. That means Social Security will withhold $6,500 of your annual benefits. If your monthly check was supposed to be $1,500, You could lose more than 4 months of checks entirely. That's a nasty surprise when you are counting on that income to pay your bills. And here is the most misunderstood part of the earnings test. The money is not gone forever. At your full retirement age, Social Security will recalculate your benefit to give you credit for the months you didn't receive a check. But that recalculation takes time, and the increased amount is spread out over the rest of your life. The immediate cash flow disruption can be devastating if you weren't prepared for it. So, if you plan to work and claim benefits before your full retirement age, you must do the math ahead of time. Estimate your annual earnings honestly, compare them to the limit, and figure out exactly how much, if anything, will be withheld. If the numbers don't add up, you might be better off delaying your claim or reducing your work hours until you reach that magic age where the earnings test disappears. The worst thing you can do is file, lose thousands of dollars in withheld benefits, and then scramble to pay your mortgage. Knowledge is the only protection against that scenario. Now, you might be wondering, how do I even begin to calculate all of this? And that's a fair question. I want to share a few practical steps that can help you avoid all three of these mistakes. Start by creating a My Social Security account on the official Social Security Administration website. It's free, it's secure, and it will show you your actual earnings record and projected benefits at different claiming ages. Print those numbers out. Look at them. If something doesn't look right, call the Social Security office and get it corrected before you file. Next, don't make this decision in a vacuum. If you're married, this is a joint decision. Your claiming age affects your spouse, and your spouse's claiming age affects you. Talk about it openly and run the numbers for multiple scenarios, not just the one that gives you the biggest check today. I also encourage you to think of Social Security as longevity insurance. The purpose of this program was never to make you rich. It was to make sure you don't run out of money in your 80s or 90s. When you view it through that lens, delaying becomes a much more attractive option, because you're essentially buying yourself a larger inflation-protected paycheck for the most vulnerable years of your life. If you have other savings, a 401k, an IRA, a pension, consider using those to bridge the gap between the day you stop working and the day you claim Social Security. Spending down a portion of your savings in your 60s to secure a permanently higher Social Security check in your 70s is often the single most efficient financial move a retiree can make. One last thing I want to touch on is the emotional side of this. Money decisions are rarely purely logical, and that is especially true when retirement feels like a reward you've been waiting on for decades. You might feel like you deserve to claim as soon as possible. You've paid in, after all, and you do deserve it, but you also deserve to get the maximum amount you've earned. Patience here is not just a virtue, it's a strategy. Every year you wait, you are giving yourself a raise that will keep paying out for the rest of your life. When interest rates are fluctuating and the stock market is unpredictable, an 8% annual increase in guaranteed government-backed income is one of the best deals available anywhere. Take your time. Consult with a fiduciary financial advisor if you have one, or use the free resources available at senior centers and libraries. Talk to friends who have already retired, but take their advice with a grain of salt. What worked for your brother-in-law might be completely wrong for your financial picture and your health situation. Your retirement is unique, and the decisions you make in the next few months will echo for decades. So let's bring it all together. The 3 costly mistakes I want you to remember are claiming at 62 without fully understanding the lifetime reduction in benefits overlooking spousal and survivor benefits that can leave your partner in a financial bind, and triggering the earnings test penalty by claiming while still working without knowing the income limits. These are the traps that catch well-meaning, hard-working Americans every single day, but they don't have to catch you. You now know what to watch for, and you have the power to plan around them. If this information helped clarify things, or if it gave you something important to think about, please tap that like button. It really does help other seniors and retirees find this content so they can protect their benefits too. And if you want to stay updated on all the changes to Social Security, Medicare, and retirement planning, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a new video. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these mistakes surprised you the most? Or do you have a story about how you navigated your own claiming decision? Sharing your experience could be the encouragement someone else needs to make a smarter choice. Thanks for spending this time with me today. Your retirement security matters, and I'm honored to help you protect it.